Text Dean or John to 79640.
Now for breakdowns. After stumbling around in 3 games since Texas, OU played its best 4 quarters of the season. Coach said so, reminding people how far the program's come in a year and a half, while also seeing why they had no business losing to KU and OSU and remaining undefeated. Now, Drake Stoops was just extraordinary in the West Virginia rout. He'll be remembered as one of the best players and competitors in Norman and OU history. A clinic in preparation, route running, competitive playmaking, exceeding his career night in Stillwater, 10 catches, 164 yards, and 3 TDs. Quintessential leader and winner. In its 10th game of the season, Oklahoma found its running back, Gavin Sawchuk, had been slowed by injuries and is just now getting the reps needed for a young player to become successful. The redshirt freshman ran for 107 in the first half, 135 total, flashing track star speed, toughness, elusiveness, and the potential to be successful in the SEC. Shame on you if you are one who called for the offensive coordinator's head and a desire to sit Dillon Gabriel after last week's loss. Gabriel accounting for 8 TDs, and he'll tell you he missed some open throws. 423 yards on all kinds of throws, but unlike last week, for some reason, he was a weapon running this week, tough and running through defenders. Defensively, a big night with several freshmen producing. This terrific tip by Billy Bowman resulted in a Pearson interception, one of the 2 on the night, and incredibly 17 on the season. Remember Grinch's teams that rarely picked one off? 10 different players have interceptions, most Oskies since 2000, tied most nationally. Very bright future.
It's tough. It's a roller coaster of life, of football. You know, this game will, humble you. But I just think, the way we came out, just guys that are hungry. I think we had our best week of practice. The preparation is something that, is often said, but, when you do it at a high level, I think, you reap the benefits on getting there.
And report card time. Offensively, A+, 644 yards, no turnovers, 8.3 yards per play. 14 scrimmage plays of 20 or more yards. Great plan by Levy and player execution. Defensively, A-. Held the Nears to 4 of 16 on 3rd downs. Another goal line stand, 2 takeaways. Danny Stutzman was greatly missed last week. Specials, C-. Good everywhere, but muffing 2 punts, losing 1 is losing football. Overall, A, excellent. Favored by 12, win by 39.
Yeah, I'm with you on all counts, Dean. Look, this is a major bounce-back performance from Oklahoma. A lot of people questioning just how good was this team. And I thought it was a good reminder for themselves and everybody else. When they play clean, they can play as good as anybody out there in all of college football, and especially offensively. As Dean kind of touched on, they got to roll in both running the football and throwing it. Gavin Sawchuk, I've been waiting for this breakout. Back-to-back 100-yard games. That's the explosiveness that we've expected to see from the offensive line, was paving past a season-high 221 yards on the ground. A season-high 644 total. And what more can you say? Dillon Gabriel, 8 touchdowns. I think that really says it all. They took care of the ball. No offensive turnovers. They had the muff punt. And though it's an unpopular opinion, Jeff Levy is an excellent offensive coordinator. I thought he showed that schematically all throughout the night. And defensively, it was great to get that leader back and Danny Stutzman. And what I really liked was see Stutzman and Kip Lewis on the field at the same time. And who doesn't love to see goal line stands bow their necks and show you some of that physicality and toughness that they have? They played with an edge on Saturday night, and I love this aspect. After their leader, Drake Stoops, was taunted, was stood over after the big hit, the team didn't like that, and they showed a little bit of their personality, their identity, and reminded everybody that edge is back. I can promise you the head coach liked to see that, and if this is a Sooner team we see for the rest of the season, look out, because this is a very good football team.
Well, as for the Cowboys, the reason I said in the report this would be OSU's toughest test yet isn't because UCF is the best team the Cowboys have played this season. That's pretty obvious, but it was the situation. UCF gaining confidence as quarterback John Rice Plumlee has helped stabilize what has been an explosive offense. The Knights having finally won a Big 12 game, even though it was at Cincinnati, and overall trending in the right direction. The Cowboys battling to overcome a Bedlam hangover, and it was UCF Space Day, and they're unbeaten in those situations. No excuses. Cowboys didn't play well, and it started early. Everyone thought OSU would run all over UCF's defense, but Ollie Gordon's fumble on the first Cowboy drive was an ominous sign. And then when the Cowboys had to throw, by his own admission, Alan Bowman said, you can't throw high over the middle, and I threw high over the middle. All 3 interceptions were off receivers' hands, deflections for easy picks. Now, defensively, the Cowboys gave up too many explosive plays, 7 of 30 yards or more, and the tone was set with a 37-yard completion on the first snap. The backbreaker came after the Cowboys had scored and forced a turnover before giving it back, and R.J. Harvey finding a seam and getting into the secondary and going 92 yards on a career night for him, and that was a touchdown. One of the bright spots came in the return game. Brennan Presley, Jaden Nixon, each with their best returns of the season, could bode well for the future, the rest of the season anyway. The biggest surprise, Ollie Gordon, only 25 yards on 12 carries, none for more than 5. UCF adjusting up front with either 4, sometimes 5 down, but nothing really special other than bringing extra people into the box. Everything went UCF's way, and give them credit for it. They were aggressive on both sides of the ball and outplayed OSU. Afterward, Mike Gundy said the difference started with coaching.
My honest opinion is that they coached better than us in this game. And then on the 50-50 plays, which are, passes down the side where we have a chance or they have a chance, both sides of the ball. Or we have a chance to break a tackle, they have a chance to tackle us, or vice versa. I thought they made more 50-50 plays than we did today. And then I thought that their schemes were better.
Report card time. Offense, we start with this at D. You can't turn it over 4 times and expect to win. Defense, a D. Some poor tackling on the first drive, but just too many big plays allowed. Special teams, a B. Not a major part the way the game unfolded, though, and overall it's a D. The Cowboys aren't built to play from behind, especially against an explosive offensive team, Dusty.
Yeah, you're exactly right, John. And look, the old saying is true. When it rains, it pours. And boy, was it raining at times in the Sunshine State. If you would have told me Oklahoma State loses this game, I wouldn't have been shocked. But the way they lost this game, given the way they were playing, that to me was shocking. Kind of like John touched on, especially on the offensive side of the football. UCF was the 4th worst rush defense in all of college football going in, giving up 211 yards a game, and they could only muster up 52 total rushing yards on the ground. That was shocking to me, to say the least. The other reality is you cannot turn the ball over on the road. They were -3 turnover margin. During the 5-game winning streak, they were +8. That is a staggering contrast when you're going to go on the road and try to win, especially against a team as explosive as UCF. And that was really the entire story. The poor tackling in the run game, and then just not getting guys on the ground in the throw game. And they've got great speed. We knew that this UCF team was explosive, but to the tune that they had, 75-yard touchdown reception, 92-yard touchdown run there by R.J. Harvey. He went for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. UCF offensively really had their way with Oklahoma State. We've seen this Cowboys team this year respond after South Alabama, and I can't wait to see what the response is after such a lackluster performance at UCF this past weekend.
A 5th straight loss for the Golden Hurricane means TU won't be going bowling this year, but against the expected toughest opponent in the conference, Tulsa had their strongest showing in weeks. The Golden Hurricane, a late 2-point try away from tying 23rd-ranked Tulane before falling 24-22. But the story of the game was quarterback Kirk Francis. The true freshman out of Metro Christian played the majority of snaps under center, completing 22 of 34 for 345 yards and a touchdown. That's the most passing yards by a freshman since T.J. Rubley in 1987.
It was nice to be out there again. Feel like we've gotten a little bit of a rhythm. We started running really well. We took some shots, we had some good short games that we hit. We were really mixing it up.
As he settles into learning the offense, learning how to play, it's been good to see. And like I said, I've said all along, I think he's got a strong future.
TU report card. Offense will go A. Outgained Tulane 477 to 357. Best passing game by far. Only 1 turnover. Defense is a B. Held Tulane to 163 rushing yards, intercepted a pass, and got a sack. Special teams is a C-. Chase Meyer 3 for 3 on field goals, but they gave up a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown that changed the game. Overall, let's go B. Best conference performance by far, and Kirk Francis definitely a bright spot.
Coming up, we discuss what it will take for OU and OSU to win, and Dusty and I give our score predictions, including TU. Don't go anywhere.
All right, time now for our viewer question. Dean and John, Robert in Edmond wants to know, if you were Thunder GM Sam Presti, would you be open to Kevin Durant returning to OKC if he wanted to? And how do you think Thunder fans would feel about it? Dean?
If it helps the Thunder win, the fans will like it. It's real simple, John. I don't see a way that makes sense or would happen, but if KD would take on the role that would be needed to fit into that, realizing he's one of the best in the business, but he would have to fit into it, maybe so. Can't believe I'm saying that.
I know, but you know what? He's not as young as he used to be.
Yeah.
And how much do you like that
though.
young core? Well, yeah, we feel that way anyway. How much do you like that young core? What pieces are going to go by the wayside if you have to make a trade? I don't know. I'd have to see the specifics on it before.
Yeah,
I would say that.
All right, Oklahoma finishes its regular season with a home game 1 week from Friday against TCU, and Saturday's game in Provo against struggling BYU, beaten by this same West Virginia team last week by 30 points. Worse last night, suffering its first home loss, 45-13 to Iowa State. Now, BYU is 103rd in the country offensively. Its defense has turned into a shell of its former self as the season has progressed. A team that's gotten off to awful starts week by week. A change at quarterback didn't help against ISU. 318 total yards. Surprisingly, that's the third highest offensive yardage for BYU of the season.
Yeah, Dean, this is a different BYU team than Kalani Sitake has had in previous years. And when we think of BYU, we think about a team that's tough, that's physical, that's built in the trenches. And that's not the way this BYU team is built. Let's take a look at the DeVore checklist, what the Sooners need to do to go on the road and get a win. And it's bully the big boys. Look, BYU up front, they're only running for 90 yards a game. That's 126 in the country, giving up 180 in the run game. Oklahoma should win the battle in the trenches. Number two, protect the pigskin. Hey, BYU, one thing they do well, take the ball away. 18 takeaways, second in the Big 12 on the season. Oklahoma, their last two road games, 6 giveaways. They've got to take care of the football and then prepare for Provo. It's going to be a 10 a.m. local kick. It's going to be at elevation. A lot of these players have not been to this place, so prepare for the elements and don't wake up sleepy there on the road when that game kicks early.
Well, another conference newbie for Oklahoma State next week and another road matchup. They visit the Houston Cougars and old friend Dana Holgorsen on Saturday. Clear your throat on 3. The Cougars 2-5 in the Big 12 with a Hail Mary win over West Virginia and a 1-point win over Baylor on the resume. They're coming off a 10-point loss to Cincinnati last week, Bearcats' first Big 12 win. Donovan Smith leads them at quarterback, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on the year. Defensive lineman Nelson Caesar leads the Big 12 in sacks with 9.5. Kickoff set for 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon, Dusty.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to make this simple. What does Oklahoma State need to do to get that awful taste out of their mouth? Well, let's get right to it, the DeVore checklist. It's going to be simple for me. Get Gordon going. Ollie Gordon, he's been the secret and the key to this turnaround. He needs to be the key this weekend on the road. This is not a great run defense. He should be able to get going, get back to 150-plus yards. Number two, distress Donovan. That's Donovan Smith, 6'5", 240-plus pound quarterback. He's got a big arm. In their wins, he's played really well. 20 touchdown passes on the year. They need to get after and harass him throughout the course of this game. And how about negate Nelson? Nelson Caesar, he's the Big 12 sack leader with 9.5 on the year, 5 sacks in his last 3. Oklahoma State has protected Alan Bowman well. It'll be a key on the road against this pass rush for the Cougs.
All right, next up for the Golden Hurricane, new AAC member North Texas at Chapman Stadium Saturday afternoon at 2. The Mean Green struggling, just like TU, identical 3-7 records, 1-5 in the conference. 3 touchdown losers to SMU on Saturday. Chandler Rogers is the second leading passer in the conference at just under 2,700 yards this season. Running back Ayo Adeyi, third leading rusher at 76 yards per contest.
All right, prediction time. For Oklahoma, Depends on which OU team Dusty shows up, but it should be a matter of how many and not whether they'll win. I'm going Oklahoma 45-17. Cowboys should bounce back at weak sister Houston. Got a lot to play for. Call it 38-20. And Tulsa is hosting North Texas after its game effort yesterday. 3-7 teams meet, as John mentioned. I've got the Hurricane winning 31-28.
We're similar with the winners and score. I got OU winning 42-14 in Provo. I think it's another impressive road victory here for Oklahoma. And I think Oklahoma State's going to be a little bit tougher. They win in Houston, but it's closer, 31-27. And Kevin Wilson, he breaks the losing streak and takes care of North Texas. 31-30, TU gets the win, John.
All right, Dusty, thanks very much. We'll see you next week. Coming up after the break, the Cowboys look for their first win of the season on the hardwood, and, of course, we play those percentages.
Dvorak List is sponsored by Gateway.
Basketball looking to rebound from a season-opening loss to Abilene Christian this afternoon. Early three-ball from Keon Williams gets them off on the right foot against Sam Houston. And then Javon Small in his OSU debut knocks in a three of his own. 16 points on the night for the junior point guard. OSU tied a school record with 17 threes. First win of the season for Boynton and the boys, 85-70 over the Bearcats.
All right, time now for us to play those percentages, and they're both tied for second in conference right now. So, Dean, what are the chances at least one of the Oklahoma schools is playing in that Big 12 championship game in 3 weeks?
I think are really good. I go 85%. I actually believe both teams went out.
Well, I say 95. I think definitely one of them is going to make it.
If Oklahoma State's going to do it, it's probably on the shoulders of Ollie Gordon. Didn't see him much on Saturday. What are the chances he goes over 150 yards this coming Saturday, John?
You know, it could be a successful night for him with 120 or 130 as long as you win the game. So I'll say 45.
I'm going to go 90. I know OSU slowed him down, but got the win, OSU. And we saw what happened yesterday. But I'm going to go with 55%.
All right, BYU, one of the worst teams that run...
90%.
90%, yeah, there we go. All right, one of the worst teams that run the ball in the entire country, BYU. What are the chances OU holds them 100 rush yards on Saturday, Dean?
I think there's a really good chance. 55 is what I'm giving it. Could be higher.
Yeah, I'm in the same ballpark, 60.
CeeDee Lamb making history today. First player in NFL history to go 3 straight games with 10-plus receptions, 150-plus yards. What are the chances next week he makes it 4, John?
They might have some extra defenders on him, 51.
Is this perfect? We're the same at 51, and we know why.
Yeah, really not branching out much there. All right, and then we got Chet versus Victor, round 2 on Tuesday. San Antonio coming to town. What are the chances Chet out-rebounds the 7-foot Frenchman, 7'6" Frenchman on Tuesday, Dean?
Oh, interesting question. I'm going to go 45%, but the Thunder get the win.
Yeah, Chet hater. 52, I think.
And the Thunder lose, right?
No.
Well, there's the percentages. Text your winner, Dean or John, to 79640. We'll tell you who wins next.